What's good, folks? So I wanted to do a video and just to kind of do a follow up to the last one I did regarding resurrecting old MIDI controllers and stuff like that. I had I got a Kai MPC element that I was using to demonstrate on, but I also have this right here for my Pro Tools rig. You know, it's the Akai APC 20. And over the past week or so, I just been like fleshing this thing out, programming these buttons, to map out to certain functions. And I've been using keyboard Maestro to do it. Um, but what I wanted to do in this video is to just kind of demonstrate, what I've done, how I did it, as well as share with you guys the macros. So that way, if you are using or intend to get a hold of Keyboard Maestro, because it's only like 36 bucks. And by the way, this is not a sponsored video or anything like that. I actually paid for it, but if you could do me a favor, I digress a little bit, but if you can do me a favor, hit like and subscribe, leave a comment and everything. And as you're leaving comments, I understand some of you guys are going to be like, yeah, but you could just use keyboard shortcuts and stuff like that. I'm gonna tell you, this is not my full-time hustle. I got a day job, and I just, don't have the bandwidth to memorize all the different shortcuts, especially, between using Pro Tools, using Luna, using, the Akai MPC software, not to mention all the different plugins and stuff like that, editing software and stuff like that. So, so for me, this works for me. I like programming buttons, so that way I can just hit those buttons and they do what I got to do. And then also the other thing, there's certain things that you just don't have a shortcut key for, So perfect example is going to be like audio, your plugins in the audio suite. So, let me go ahead and switch over here. Let's start by, I'm gonna toggle. By the way, I got this button configured to just get me back and forth. Yeah, I know there's a shortcut for that, but I like pushing buttons, right? All right, so I'm gonna go on over here. So if you go to Audio Suite, like my favorite EQ to use a lot, is to go straight into, using Fab Filter. I like using Fab Filter, but there's no shortcut to get in there, right? So I just program this button. So all I do is like when I'm ready to edit something, oh, I need to edit this clip, right? Man, let me push this button right here. And bam, it's in there. I can go ahead and do what I got to do. Get done editing it, hit render, call it a day, right? Close up out of there. If I need to do some denoise, clean up on some stuff because I got a clip that's real noisy or whatnot, hey, I'm going into RX11. Bam. Do what I got to do. I don't know. Let's say, what are we going to do? We're going to just go ahead and mute a portion of this out real quick. Okay. So once I'm done with there, inside of RX11, I also have macros to control it. So that way it's automatically sending it right back into Pro Tools. And you see how it's edited right there. It changed it. Let me go ahead and undo this because I don't want to. There it is. Okay. So, so Audio Suite plugins, if you got favorite Audio Suite plugins, it definitely saves you some clicks and having to, do that menu diving and all that kind of stuff. I think that's huge. The other thing that I use this for, like I got the bounce, whenever I want to bounce tracks, I just hit that and go ahead and, and just bounce. Underneath that, I like creating versions, and rather than having to remember keystrokes to go, obviously do, Command S to save, and then, to save my current version, and then go back in and do, the Control Command S, to do the save as and all that. I got a button to just do all that for me, so I hit this, and what just happened was it saved the current version, and then it opened up the save as, and then it populated it with the current date and time, right? and gave me a little underscore, and it put my cursor at the very beginning, so that way I can go ahead and name this version whatever the hell I want to name it. I'm going to call it a test, and then I'm going to go ahead and save it, and bam, now I'm operating off of this new version that I created, and I can keep it moving. Okay. Love, 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 love having, these buttons to be able to do certain functions that I would not be able to program onto, my Behringer X Touch, which is operating in Huey, so it's not even really spitting MIDI. But bottom line is, like I said, I got a lot more functionality, by adding this to my rig. Also helps speed up my workflow a lot too. So, in a nutshell, like I said, this is something that has been extremely helpful, and I'm going to share with you guys the macro. It'll work with, pretty much any MIDI controller. The cool thing is that, let me go back into MIDI Maestro. The thing I like about MIDI Maestro is the fact that, all the different stuff, that's in here, you can share it with other people. You just export the group. You can set it up to where, these buttons only respond, or certain buttons only respond in certain applications. So, in this case, like under Pro Tools Keyboard Maestro macros, right? I got this thing set up to where it will only work under certain applications, Pro Tools and, RX11. So if you happen to be operating in another application, you hit a button, it's not going to screw something up. You're right. So, like I said, I'm going to be sharing this with you guys. Let's see, what else is something that I like to share with you. So I have now fully 100% switched over from using MIDI shortcut to MIDI Maestro. I'm not knocking MIDI shortcut. It works. It serves its purpose. It's $26. So it's $10 cheaper than MIDI Maestro. However, MIDI Maestro does so much more. It's ridiculous. So, with MIDI shortcut, you could only use it with one MIDI controller at a time. Whereas with MIDI Maestro, you can use it with as many MIDI controllers as you want, as you like, because for each one of your macros, you're assigning it, the device that you want it to listen to and respond to, and and it will only execute a function coming from that MIDI device, and you can have multiple MIDI devices hooked up, and then you can have, another, macro configured to operate on something different. So, let's say, for instance, if I wanted to come off of the X Touch, if I had something plugged into the MIDI port on the X Touch, then it would respond to that. So, but bottom line is, Keyboard Maestro is awesome. Like I said, I'm not getting paid for this. I just want to share this knowledge with you guys because, I'm excited about it, and it didn't cost me an arm and a leg, and it's definitely improved my workflow. So that's all I got. Until next time, and like I said, leave a comment, like, and subscribe.